You know the story. A woman, young, vulnerable, and intoxicated. Her would-be attackers looming in the bushes, sitting in wait. Monstrous male and concerned for her well-being? Join the Honey Badgers as we discuss the Drunk Girl in Public hoax and its counter video. As always, the show will be available for download after the broadcast at honeybadgerbrigade.com.
Like a furry torpedo to the jugular, this is Honey Badger Radio, radio with bite.
Hello and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. Tonight's topic is Drunk Girl Viral Hoax with a special guest, Josh Blaine, one of the actors who was tricked into taking part in the viral hoax. We'll be talking to him a bit later. I am your host, Allison Tiemann, and I'm taking over for tonight because we got a few show business announcements. First of all, for those of you who are tuning in and have never heard Honey Badger Radio before, we generally discuss gender issues with sort of an idea to not placing blame and trying to find reasonable solutions that helps everyone. And we discuss them in a very logical and rational way. We don't tend to call people names, and we let people speak. And we are very, very low budget. So what you hear is what you get. When we have a guest on, no post-production, no editing, nothing like that. It's exactly what they said to us is what you hear. And if you like that sort of thing, if you like raw truth, free dog radio, then this is the place for you. And also, I'm going to be addressing the question or the constant complaints, or at least once an episode, about Karen saying right. This time I'm going to try something a little new. I have censored up. And what I'm going to do is, when Karen says the word right, I'm going to squeak.
Oh, you bitch! You bitch!
Yes, I know. And
okay, you know what you need to do? You need to do for this show? You need to actually squeak whenever I say bitch, because I'll be saying it a lot.
Yeah, I'll squeak when you say right, and then when you follow up with bitch. How's that?
All right, bitch.
And, I foresee three things happening when I do this. Either Karen will be conditioned to no longer say the word right. I doubt that, but we'll see. Or the people who are complaining about her saying the word right will be so annoyed by the sound of Censor Duck that they'll just want her to continue to say right and shut Censor Duck up. Or Karen will kill me in my sleep.
Probably not. I probably won't kill you. I'll kill some kind of stand-in person who just happens to be handy.
Okay.
That's how I roll. Because I'm not going all the way to freaking Saskatchewan. I'm sorry, I'm not.
All right, so essentially I'll be responsible for a small murder spree by you.
There you go.
Oh, great. Okay, well, anyway, so let's get to the introductions. I'm Allison Tiemann again, the host. I'm one of the founders with Karen and Hannah of Honey Badger Radio. I also write my own science fiction webcomic, Xenospora, that's with an X, like xylophone, xenospora.com. And it covers gender issues and men's issues and societal issues and all kinds of issues, and hopefully in entertaining and dramatic and comedic fashion. And I will throw the mic over to Rachel, who's usually hosting the show, but didn't tonight.
Hi.
Introduce
Hi.
Censor.
Oh gosh, the return of Censor Duck. I'm Rachel Edwards. I'm a writer for HBR, Honey Badger Radio, and 20oz.com. That's 20 Ounce Gaming, 20oz.com. Also, I blog at my Tumblr page, which is naughtynerdess.tumblr.com, where I comment about gender equality and all sorts of interesting things. Some Monty Python references and things like that. And I'll send it back over to you. So, yes.
Okay, so we also have Hannah Wallen tonight. Hannah, give us a bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Hannah Wallen. I write Breaking the Glasses at breakingtheglasses.blogspot.com, and also I write for the Honey Badger Brigade.
Second, Hannah. I apologize. Like I said, this is low budget, totally honest, totally no post production radio, which means we have very few technical abilities. Josh, could you mute your mic while we're going through introductions, because we're hearing a lot of cross noise from you. Thank you. Go ahead, Hannah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay. So I also write for the Honey Badger Brigade site, and that column's called Word for a Nerd, or Word from a Nerd, sorry. And I also write for A Voice for Men sometimes, and also Gender Attic, have a Tumblr blog and a YouTube vlog also titled Breaking the Glasses, and mensrights.ca. I think that's the whole list. It keeps getting longer.
Yeah. Thank you, Hannah. Yeah, there's no place that Hannah doesn't write for in this particular sphere of the interwebs. And Karen, why don't you give your introduction, even though you don't really need one, but anyway, go ahead. Karen.
Well, you can find me on YouTube under my real name, Karen Straughan, Straughan. You can find me in the blogosphere on owningyourshit.blogspot.com. I've been doing a few more blog posts than I used to, just because I don't have time to shoot videos and edit them and upload them and all of that. I'm mostly just writing, right? And you can find me at girlrights.com. Right? I'm hoping, I've been wrestling with my bathroom. I'm remodeling my upstairs bathroom right now, and I've been hoping that I can take some time and post a video within the next few days, and hopefully that will happen. But right now, duty.
Oh, damn. Sorry.
Duty calls, and in more ways than one. Duty really calls, because we don't have an upstairs toilet. So there you go.
Okay, and joining us today is Lauren Brooke. Lauren, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Well, there's not much to know about me. Thanks for putting me on after Karen. I am an aspiring writer for A Voice for Men, also for the Honey Badger Brigade. I'm mostly a loudmouth. You can find me on Twitter at justlaurenb. And I just like to critique anything from anything that I find interesting, but especially feminism. And yeah, that's
great.
me.
Thanks, Lauren. Why don't you? It's Lauren at Lauren, or what? How did they get you on Twitter?
At justlaurenb.
Okay, gotcha. And that was Lauren Brooks. Sorry, not Lauren Brooke. My apologies. Okay, well let's get right into it. I know Rachel has some questions for Josh. Actually, why don't we pull you on, Josh? You can unmute now.
Hey.
Hi. Thanks for coming on, by the way. This is Josh Blaine. He was an actor.
Yeah, no sweat.
Was tricked into taking part in the viral, the drunk girl viral hoax video. And yeah, we're going to talk to him and see some of his experiences with that and what was sort of an insider's report on what was going on. And Rachel has an intro, so take it away, Rachel.
Yes, I do. Hi, guys. All right, let's see here. I'm going to read a little bit here. The Drunk Girl in Public Hoax and its counter video. On November 8th, 2014, a video was uploaded to YouTube by Stephen Zhang Productions. It featured what appeared at first glance to be a prank video featuring a female actor pretending to be drunk in broad daylight walking down Hollywood Boulevard. In it, the woman is constantly being hit on by men that want to take her back to their homes or hotel room. As it turns out, the video was all but one big hoax. All participants thought they were filming a comedic student video. However, the so-called student video was placed online as a, quote, social experiment, unquote, which went viral within days of its release. Involved and one reportedly got in trouble with his workplace after the public. The guilt felt by the film staff and the female actor prompted them to come forward with the truth, confirming the claims made by the male actors. On November 24th, a counter video was posted on YouTube by the channel Model Pranksters TV, doing exactly what the original video claimed it would do, performing a social experiment. An actress pretended to be drunk at 2 a.m. in the meatpacking district of New York City. The results were incredibly positive. All the men tried to help the woman in a variety of different ways. The first man resolved to take her to a restaurant to get her sobered up with coffee. The second man decided to get her onto the train, and the third man even went so far as to give a taxi driver $40 to send her home. The overall consensus seems to be that this kind of paranoid hysteria hurts more people than it helps, and that people are still capable of kindness and compassion for others. But I do have some questions for you. And you can clarify anything that I just said in this intro on your end.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions maybe that'll help to guide the situation. All right.
Sure.
My question is, what's your current occupation? I ask because they said you guys acted in the video. Is acting your profession, or is it something else? I mean, if you don't feel comfortable saying you can leave that out.
I'll say I've never canceled out the idea of being an actor, as I do live in Hollywood, but I am a tour bus driver who is currently unemployed, and I'm a piano player, a songwriter. I play bass in a band called Wasted Ink, but right now I'm just kind of a solo artist here in Los Angeles.
How did you come to be involved with this video exactly?
Well, I was approached by a small film crew on the northwest corner of Hollywood in Sycamore, and they asked me if I would be a part of their film. It was like a skit, they told me, and I was just in kind of a goofy mood, so I went along with it. And I don't know. I guess I didn't expect them to like throw it up and like make everyone believe it was real.
Yeah. Well, how was it exactly described to you? Like, what did they say that they were the purpose of it, or what this was really about? Did they explain that it was a movie or a short, or what
They
did
told
they?
me it was just for you know, it's hard to quote them verbatim. My brain doesn't really work like that. But as far as I remember, they said it was some type of college skit.
Oh, okay.
And they asked me if I would pretend to pick up this drunk girl and try to take her home. And I was in a goofy mood, so I went along with it. And then, I don't know, 3 days later, man, I got so many people hitting me up out of the blue, like, what are you doing? Oh my God, you know, that was kind of crazy.
So how has the breaking of the video affected your life? I mean, has anything changed? Did you get any hate mail or anything? Or people telling you that you're terrible or something? Or
Well, I read a lot of the message board posts. Like, I'd say after about 3-4 million views, most people realized it was a hoax. But some of the stuff I read, man, like directed at me, was a little frightening. I gotta tell you, man. I had some people. I wish I would have screenshotted some of it, but I should be jailed. I should be beaten. I should be hung, shot. You know, all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, man, I was acting. The first day that it hit real hard, I'll tell you, I was getting dirty looks all up and down the block here in Hollywood. It's like a small community here. I work in the tour industry. I'm a bus driver. Everybody knows everybody on Hollywood Boulevard. I think it's like almost 3 miles long or something like that. It's not that long at all, man. There's not that many tour companies, so everybody knows everybody's business here. And it was kind of a joke to some people, but I tell you, I was sitting down for a Guinness at a local bar here on Hollywood Boulevard called Loaded. Really good bar. If anybody comes to Hollywood, you might check that spot out. But I was sitting there, and this girl was giving me a dirty look from across the table, and I had asked. I just knew she saw the video, man. Like, and I was like, "Did you see the video?" And she was like, "You're a piece of shit. You're too much. You're too much. You're too much. And she was sitting there with a couple of skinhead looking cats with like knuckle tattoos or whatever, bigger than me, you know. And I was just like, man, this is going to get me in trouble. But I sat there for like 10 minutes trying to explain to her that it was like a hoax. And in the end, I just like left. I just left, and I don't think she believed me anyway. But it was, I don't know. I hate having to explain myself anyway. I just don't like having to do it. So it's been a little weird.
Yeah, that definitely speaks to part of the big moral problem of all of this is that in making this viral hoax and putting you guys in the spotlight like this, they could have instigated some serious violence against you.
Yeah, and I guess what I was thinking is if they would have told me what their intentions were, I might have still went along with it at the idea of like fooling 3 million Americans or maybe even more. I would have just like hung out at my house and drank coffee and play music and had a good laugh, man. Like, just to be honest, like that would have been really rad. But instead, you know, they told me it was going to be a skit. So, you know, when it popped up like that, now I'm like, I don't know. It was really weird for me.
Well, I mean, they did. So you went into this, and they didn't actually inform you that they were going to present this as something that was taken from reality, essentially.
Yeah, no, it was just kind of crappy. But the idea of being able to pull a prank like this, I think it's kind of, you know, I'll give the kid a little credit. You know, he's 20 years old, and I'll say he's pretty damn smart. I just wish he would have filled me in on exactly what he wanted to do, because I might have still played along. You know, it was just kind of shitty for him to completely disregard my safety, you know, in a place like Hollywood.
Well, I mean, you're saying that everybody knows everybody, so they would have recognized you. And, I mean, if the intent is to go viral, that means millions and millions, potentially millions and millions of people can see you, will see you.
Yeah.
And if they think it's real, like I was saying, the capacity, the potential for creating a situation in which you were shot or murdered or hung. I mean, mob violence around sexual aggression towards women is a very real problem.
And, and I'm a naturally paranoid guy, so you know, I've been looking over my shoulder a little bit. Not so much anymore. I feel like it's kind of out that it's a hoax. But in the beginning, I thought it was really like he didn't think about that much, man. Like he didn't think about it that far in advance, because it could have gotten me hurt. It really could have.
It really shows how glib and flip we are about the reaction to men who commit sexual assault, right? Or who are seen as sexual predators. I mean, like you have this whole thing where it's like, oh, well, it's not that bad to be accused. There was a 15-year-old boy in the UK a couple of years ago who was beaten almost to death on his paper route because some girl he didn't want to date accused him of sexual assault, and 6 months later, a 40-year-old man beat the shit out of him while he was delivering papers.
There's something even more egregious recently, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Beaten to death based on a verifiably false accusation. But sorry, Karen, that Hannah was wanting to get a question in. So, Hannah, go ahead.
Well, actually, I have two now. They really did, given that they really did put you in a lot of danger. Did they even ask you to sign a release or anything?
No, I didn't sign a release. They didn't pay me or anything. And as I said before, like, if given that opportunity again, I would have just liked to have been filled in on it, you know? That's all. Like, and maybe I could get paid too, because they just, I don't know, like, just crazy to me, like, that they would do that without telling me what they were going to do. Like, there's a lot of YouTube hits, you know? That's pretty incredible to go viral. It's getting paid in the neighborhood.
I also wonder how blindsided you were by the level of the response, because it sounds like you really didn't anticipate at all quite how dramatic the response would be.
Not at all. Not at all. I was taken back by it completely. Like, I thought it was just, well, I mean, I guess you'd never think of a skit going viral, you know, unless it's got like some reputable actors in it, you know, and some people attached to it. Like, that's never going to go viral out. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. I've had people ask me to participate in their little student film projects on Hollywood Boulevard in the past. Most of the time I declined. But that day I was just laughing, cracking some jokes with some of my friends waiting for a tour. And they approached me like mid-laughter, and I just went along with it. Like,
so has this made you more hesitant to participate in future videos like this? If students approach you like that again,
I'll probably have more questions for them. Hopefully. I don't know, man. It's really hard for me to say. Like, I'm trying to do things outside the box.
You know, just take it as it comes, eh?
Yeah, totally. But I did also want to touch on, you know, they did that viral video because they were coattailing on the Holler Back video that got like 35 million views, of which I just like, I've literally deleted people on my Facebook page because of that particular video, and I've never even seen it, man. But hearing so many women complaining about like guys that always want to you know, holler at them or whatever, I'm like, it just doesn't compute with me at all. Like, I don't understand it.
Well, it's if you're going to dress in that manner, you can expect attention. It's just, you know, you live with
like,
the society.
And a lot of them are going to say my clothes are not an invitation to talk to me, you know, but they're going to go home and brag to their ugly friend about how many guys try to hit on them and try to get their phone number. It's like their ugly friend wants to hear about that about as much as my bald friend wants to hear about my great hair day. You know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's like if you're hot, then own that. Like if you're sexy, then own it, man. Because you're not gonna be sexy one day, and you're gonna look back at those golden years when dudes were hollering at you, and you might just miss that. You know? So I got that to say.
What I wanted to add to that, sorry, Karen, is just this idea of you don't have to get that attention. Like, I'm wearing flannel PJs and a wife beater, you know. And if I could, I would all that time.
I might still want to holler at you, you know. Maybe I would.
No. Don't worry about it. But it's like you don't have to dress for that kind of attention, and it's more comfortable not to. So you're going out of your way to dress that way. And the other thing is that feminists will bring up women who are of color, women who are fat, women who are old, and say that the fact that they're invisible, they're sexually invisible, is also male privilege and something that, you know, like a discrimination against them. And yet, so which is it? And I've even had feminists say, when I point this out, that attractive women getting attention is patriarchy, and unattractive women not getting attention is patriarchy. Because apparently men don't have or male privilege, because apparently men don't have the right to find what they find attractive. They have to be attracted to all women equally. So I just want to put that out. And go ahead, Karen, I apologize. Oh, wait, sorry. Lauren did have a question. Lauren, go ahead.
Yeah, so Josh, you know, I know you were saying that people on the street have noticed you, just random strangers. I was wondering if, like, your employers have had anything to say about this, and has it affected your livelihood or your income in any way?
Josh, are you still there?
Well, sorry, I had muted it to cut back on the feedback. Actually, funny you should ask. I quit my job over this because I had some problems over one of my bosses over this video. It just made it kind of an awkward work environment. So yes, financially, life sucks right now, and I can directly attribute that to this viral hoax video.
Can I ask? Can I ask if that boss was a male or a female?
Male.
Oh,
That
okay,
doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me at all. Like one of the things.
You see, the thing is, I'll tell you, just to be honest, and I hope Steven Zhang's listening, man. Like, I'm not trying to sue him at all. Like, I might be interested in mediation or something like that, because I feel like after about 12 million views or something like that, maybe, since it went viral on my back, you should be paying me. Like, that's how I feel. But I really hate the idea of having to sue anyone. But my boss wants to sue him because the bus has been seen in the video, and that's where I was walking her to, which makes the company look bad. And I just, like, I don't know, man. Like, it's a moral dilemma that I'm having, man, just because I just hate the idea of having to sue a 20-year-old kid that's probably just starting his life. He sounds like he's pretty smart, you know? That's the thing. Everybody wants to hate on the kid, you know, but... The
problem is not that how smart or how dumb he is. The problem is it's a lack of ethical foundation. Like that he would talk multiple...
Okay, well, hold on. Then let's put it like this. What if everybody had signed releases and had agreed with it? Would it then be okay for him to put it up like it was real and still get the same amount of views? If
the releases that he got you to sign said that he was going to present it as if it was reality, then yes. Yeah. Then I would have no problem with it. But he basically tricked a bunch of men into participating in something that they thought was going to be a prank video, like a Just for Laughs that we have in.
I know, and that's why it's totally messed up. But had he done it the right way, like which would have only taken a few more steps, truly, like he would have been able to get someone to participate in that video out of an ocean of tourists on Hollywood Boulevard. Like, someone would have signed that, and then he wouldn't have been getting any flack for it, you know? Like, that would have been the thing.
He would have still gotten flack for presenting something that was staged as something that was just ad-lib reality. He would have gotten flack from public from it, but he wouldn't be legally liable for damages.
It would have been it would have been labeled a hoax or whatever, but he still, like, I don't know, he still got it off. Like, I guess that's the real fascinating thing to me, truly, is like how young this kid is and how he was able to do that, truly.
I mean, he can't have been that smart. He can't have been that smart if he did not realize that he was leaving himself open to a lawsuit by doing it this way.
No, yeah, maybe he just got lucky. I don't know. I've just never seen, like, I don't know.
Didn't the Girls Gone Wild guy, you know, the guy who used to do the Girls Gone Wild videos, didn't he end up in jail?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Because the consent was questionable, right? And those women objected to how they were portrayed in those videos.
Yeah, well, I mean, they should have had him sign releases, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he did. That's the thing. He had them sign releases. He still ended up in jail.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the thing about this is that had they let you know that this is what was going to happen, you could have warned some of your friends and family members and stuff and said, "Oh, by the way, I did this video, and then now I don't have to have this awkward conversation about this when it hits the internet." So it's, you know, you could.
Yeah, I would have opted to camp. I would have opted to be a partner and camp out. Like, I would have just, like, chilled out until it hit 30 million views or something. But I wasn't given that opportunity, and I feel like I was robbed by Steven Zhang. And that right, he kind of feel like the kid used me.
Well, the question I have is sort of additional, and it's also to Karen. It's actually to everyone. what kind of responsibility do the people who create these kind of viral hoax videos have to inform the participants of the potential negative fallout? In this particular instance, Josh and the other male actors in this video were risking being beaten to death if the fraud wasn't revealed.
I don't think that they have any kind of responsibility to say you could be beaten up over this, or you could be shot over this, or people could think you're a rapist and a predator over this. I don't think they have any because I think any reasonable person, right, if they are told what they are signing up for, you are going to act in a video as if you are a sexual predator, right? And then that video is going to be presented to the public as if it was just real footage taken off the street, not staged at all, right? Any reasonable person would be able to say there's going to be some potential fallout from this, right? And that's really the thing. Informed consent doesn't mean, you know, like when I have when I give consent to my bank, right? I don't necessarily need to know the exact amount of money they're going to ding me for a bounced check, that they're going to ding me for a rejected payment, that they're going to charge me. Like, I just want to know the gist of it. I don't need to know all of the fallout. All of the fallout, I know. I know there's going to be charges. I know I'm not going to like them. I know there's going to be a potential for a ding on my credit rating. I know all of this, right? I mean, any sensible person knows this, right? Any sensible person will know that if they are portrayed to the public as if they sexually prey on women, they're going to have some social fallout from that, right? That's just put down the duck. That's just the way it is. So I don't think that there's any need to say, here's the potential consequences of being portrayed this way. I just think that there needs to be some honesty in saying that this is a video that we're shooting, we want you to act, but then we're going to portray it as if you weren't acting and you were just some random dude on the street that we were filming without him even knowing it.
From an ethical standpoint, you may be right, but in the lawsuit Happy United States, from a legal standpoint, when it comes to anything like this, any kind of media portrayal outside of established journalism, the key word, the key phrase is cover your ass, and this guy didn't. And I mean, I've been doing this for since 1987, doing photography for a living, doing videography since the 90s. You get a release. You get a release. You give full disclosure. You do not lie to your participants, and you just don't, because you just set yourself up for. I mean, to be honest, it is really, really admirable of Josh to not want to sue, and very rare in this country. The guy's lucky he's not facing a class action from the participants and anybody else that was affected.
They should be suing.
I'm going to say at this point, I do not want to sue. But I will be taking him to mediation, and if he's unwilling to cooperate, then yes, I will sue, because he did not present it the way it was presented to the world. You know, he totally. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. You'd be within your rights, because you did suffer damages, and that is all it takes. But hell, if you
like, I just said that I've
if you
been
were your
put in
employer,
a position.
Yeah, if you were your employer, you could sue.
Yeah,
if you
I just
were
say that
anybody,
I've been put in that position, like, to
I
have
understand.
to think about suing the guy, like, because that, like, I don't know, it just seems so scummy, but I hate the fact that he got to make a bunch of money on my back because he, I don't know, lied to America. I mean, but it is what it is.
You're right. You're right. It is a shitty position to be in. I will agree with that. And it always is.
That's just it's awkward because everybody's screaming at me like, sue, 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 sue. And while I'm angry that I wasn't completely filled in, like it's just, you know, I'm stuck between this moral dilemma as to whether or not I've been affected enough by this to sue this kid and ruin his life. I know everybody else is going to, you know, but I just, yeah, I'd like to figure out how much exactly he made on that video, and I would like my fair cut. That will be me saying, "Ciao, man. Good luck to you." That's my word to Steven Zhang.
No,
Well-
and see, that's more fair than you have to be, which is, like I said, it's really admirable that you're just not jumping on the bandwagon. You know, that you're trying to be fair. That really is, and you got kudos from me for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
In terms of a larger landscape, though, if you don't sue, or if there are no repercussions to this, then people may continue to engage in this kind of behavior, and really, this is predatory behavior on this kid's behalf.
No, I don't know if they would, as this is an example. They'd just be like, "Wow, man, like he could have been really screwed over," you know. Like even if everyone gave him a pass, I think everyone could still learn from this to have a consent, man. Like have that informed consent, or I don't know, man. Like,
But
I think there's still a lesson that could be learned from this, for sure.
Yeah, well, but I can see the point of view of taking the point of view of suing, because this is a situation in which they are exploiting a particular aspect of our culture in which we do see men as predators. And they're exploiting it in such a way as it ends up being you're the target and the other men in the video are the target. And it's really sleazy and unethical.
I just think it's funny because the acting really wasn't that great, but it still fooled everyone. You know, like in the beginning, like everybody believed it. Even the editing sucked, you know, and people were ready to crucify me and those other guys over this. You know, it's like, sorry to cut you off, but I wanted to say one thing to Inside Edition. Like, they covered this story, and I gotta tell you, they threw all of those cats that were in the video under the bus. They truly did. Like, by saying that none of them could act or anything like that. Like, I'll say it fooled 3 million Americans before anybody knew the difference, you know?
Yeah.
So, give me another opportunity like this to make a viral hoax video, man. I would love to do that, man. Like, that would be, oh, man, that would be fun.
Well,
I just want to, I want to know about it. Huh?
I mean, it's entirely possible that even if it's a situation where, you know, the acting wasn't, you know, and I'm not casting judgment, but we tend to fill in details according to our narrative of what we expect, and that's what people expected. They expected the reality, a drunk woman to be preyed upon by men. And then, of course, we find out that the reality is completely different. And Rachel wants to talk, so I'm going to cede the floor to her now.
Well, you actually brought up what I was going to mention is that people have this sort of hysteria about believing that, you know, women are just constantly being taken advantage of all the time. But really, it's really only a small portion of people that actually go out of their way to be predatory. And the interesting thing is that you saw the counter video, and I don't know if you saw the counter video, but, you know, the counter video, they had this woman, and she was out there, and at 2 in the morning, in probably the shifty part of New York City, they said the meatpacking district, the sort of the clubbing area, and she was pretending to be, you know, very drunk, and out of the 10 people that came by her, none of them tried to hook up with her. They tried to make sure that she was on some kind of public transit or something, make sure that she was going to be okay. And, you know, that almost restores my faith in society a little bit. I mean, just in humanity.
Yeah, no, so not every guy is a sleazebag, you know, like, there's a lot of really good guys out there, you know, and Yeah, and then again, there's a lot of sleaze bags too, So just wash your bags,
Yeah, the sleaze bags are making viral videos pretending that men are predators. I
think it's more that people wanted to believe. They want to believe that society, that humanity is so far gone that all it takes is a woman to just walk around drunk in public for her to get taken advantage of. That's what society has come to. I mean, I would say that we're a little bit better than that, or more than that.
Well, I think that it's significantly better. What we have here is the constructed reality. I mean, it's a perfect demonstration of our attitudes towards the situation. We have a constructed reality in which all the men act predatory, and it's construction. It's a complete fiction. And we think that's more authentic than the real reality in which all the men actually went out and tried to help this woman and didn't actually try to take advantage of her state. They actually were they were forming a protective role and trying to help her and protect her. Now that's the reality. The reality is that the number of men who are rapists is small, vanishingly small, really. And this is another topic entirely. Compared to the number of women who are rapists, it's even smaller. But anyway, so you have that situation where they're constructing this false narrative, and the reality is completely different. And this is the perfect illustration of it, these two videos. The sleazeballs construct the narrative in which men are sexually predatory. The reality is that men are protective towards women. And it's the rare men who isn't. The majority are. And I'll cede the floor to Hannah because she wishes to speak.
I think that's probably what stood out the most to me about this video. It wasn't the acting that told me that the video was fake. It was that the behavior of the men in the video was entirely inconsistent with the majority of men I've met in my life. It was just completely different. And I looked at it and I was like, I just don't think that they would have been able to find that many guys to behave that way and not find anybody who would try to help her. I would think the majority would try to help her. And so my first thought was that it was cherry picked, and my second thought was, well, maybe this is just entirely fake. But as far as the acting is concerned, to be honest, I watch a lot of B movies and everything, so maybe I'm not a good judge of it, but I don't think the acting was bad at all. It wasn't completely unbelievable as far as that it was unnatural looking or anything like that, because it wasn't. It was that the behavior didn't match in and of itself. Unless you were invested in the reality.
Unless you're invested in the reality that men are predators, then it's seamless. It seems seamless and obvious. But yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for saying that, truly, because I watched the video a few times and I thought my acting was kind of comedic, and to have them, I don't know, just to have everyone after the fact screaming how bad the acting was. I can't believe anybody at all believed this. It kind of annoyed me a little bit, man. I was like, I was already thrown under the bus, and now I got to hear it from Hollywood too,
I kind of wonder if some of those people were saying stuff like that because they were mad about finding out the video was fake.
Oh, I mean, it is funny you say that, because it brings me to a very close topic of. I work in the tour industry, and I work on the same spot, and I work around a lot of beautiful women, man, corporate girls, man, that walk by, and they hate all the tour guys, man. So I see some of these same faces every day that work in different buildings real close to the area where I park my tour bus, and I know they all wanted to see that video and it be real. And when it wasn't real, I got to tell you, I almost felt like they were disappointed, man. So it's just kind of I don't know what to say about that.
Basically, they wanted to believe something bad about you, and they were robbed of it, and they were mad.
Yeah. This is exactly what I'm trying to. Sorry, I've had 3 cups of coffee, and I'm a little jittery at this point. I'm using Starbucks internet.
But yeah, no.
That's
I
okay
just think,
because we're using cans and wire, so it all works out, right? It's all low budget, so go ahead.
Yeah.
right? Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that's what bummed me out about being kind of thrown under the bus as a bad actor. I felt like it was like the second kick in the nuts because I know a lot of these haters that work around me, walking by me every day, looking down on me like I'm like some tour rat or something. You know, they don't even know me, man. Like, truly, but I feel like they wanted to believe it, and when it wasn't real, it was just like kind of a bummer for them.
So we have a question from one of our patrons, Sai. Why is it, do you think that they do not like tour operators or tour bus operators?
Not necessarily tour bus operators, but, you know, tour industry people. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel judged by a lot of yuppie type characters. We call them yupsters. It's like a mixture of a hipster and a yuppie. They have like disposable incomes, so decent taste in music, nice collection of cardigans. This type of person. I don't know, man. Like, they're not very friendly. You know, I can smile and wave at them, and they will certainly look away and stick their nose up.
Huh. And these were the women who almost wanted to believe that you were that kind of predator. Interesting.
Yeah, well, people can believe what they want, but I'm a bona fide gentleman.
It's titillating, though, right? You know that, Allison. I mean, like, you've written some sex scenes, right? I mean, like, I've written erotica. It's titillating to think that there's like some man who's twirling his mustaches and he's going to prey on that innocent young thing. I mean, that's half the reason why the rape threat narrative plays so well is because it's not only a sense of danger, but it's sexual too. Right?
Yeah, but that's a horrible thing to do to a person, to reduce them down to prop in your own passion play, I think.
Well, of course it is, but
no. I mean, if it's like a situation where you're not dealing with these kind of heady topics that could get someone killed, you know, it's like if you keep it to yourself, fine. But I don't know.
I think there's an element of classism in this, and as far as like. Maybe not so much from the hipster angle, but from the yuppie angle, definitely. And it's something that you'll see all over the country and in any profession in the service industry. And it's probably not just limited to the United States. I'm sure it happens outside the States as well. But there's just this certain attitude that some people get toward people in the service industry, whether it's retail, whether it's transportation, whether it's, you know, tour guides or people who work in amusement parks, or, you know, any of us that have been in that area. Food service is another one that people are going to act like that, and it's particularly towards men in those areas, and you know, it's just like, well, they got to be beneath you. And it's women do it more. When I was in retail, men in general were very nice to me, but women could be, and not all women, but women could be real jerks. And it was even worse when I worked with men in retail. I saw a lot of women look down on my male coworkers like they were just dirt under their feet.
Yeah. You're going to get that anywhere, but I get it because I work around skyscrapers, like not big skyscrapers. It's not like Manhattan here in LA or anything, but I'm always on the boulevard, man. So I see these people walking. You know how you see the same faces every day? If you hang out in the same spot every day, you're going to see the same faces every single day. But some of them are really cold with me, you know? So I felt like when this went viral, I had a couple of them be like, hey, I saw you on the internet. And they certainly had something to say about it. But I can only imagine the joy that came to their heart when they had first seen it, when they saw it and believed it. they're probably thinking, oh my God, they probably helped share it. And then when it wasn't real, it was probably so awkward for them. I wish I could have been like a fly on the wall with some of those familiar faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's an unfortunate situation that I don't know what else to say to that. It's treating people like that seems to be. It's very. Karen, you jump in.
Oh, you want me to jump in?
Yes, I want you to jump in.
It is. It's. You know, I want to actually take it back to the sort of the street harassment thing, and the viral video by Hollaback, right? Because most of the interactions, most of what they deemed street harassment on that video were just greetings. Hi there. Hey, you look good. Have a nice evening. Right?
Yeah.
Have a good day. God bless you. Right? You're good looking. You know, like it's actually like Seinfeld. It's actually like Seinfeld that when he says when you sneeze, instead of saying God bless you, you should say you're so good looking. Right? That would be called harassment under that.
Yeah, no, like
right. And so here we are. Here we have a video that has like maybe 2 to 3 incidents of actual what I would call harassment over the course of 10 hours, right? And they're portraying it as this horrible, oppressive thing that women have to go through every day. It's just constant. It's like they can't even step off their front porch without like being pinned down and gang raped, basically, essentially, right? If not literally, then the other Tivoli, right? As Homer Simpson says. But, you know, you have this, but then I'm talking to somebody online. I was arguing with somebody online as usual, and this woman said, well, men should not speak to women unless she's made it clear that she's soliciting their attention. And I'm like, well, how does she make it clear that she's soliciting their attention? That would be by, I don't know, she can't do it verbally because that would be harassment. And she can't do it through her clothes because it doesn't matter what she wears. She doesn't deserve that, right? She can't do it, you know, there's no way a woman could possibly signal clearly that she's inviting male attention, right? That would satisfy these people. And the only way she could do it by saying verbally, expressing interest in him, if there was not a double standard, he could turn around and say, you're harassing me. Right? That's catcalling. That's street harassment. Right? I didn't tell you that I wanted your attention. I didn't clearly indicate that I was inviting comments on my appearance. Blah, blah, blah. Okay? So, I mean, like, literally, it really is a situation where it is, with the street harassment thing and the way feminists want it to work, it is a do not speak until spoken to. That's all it is. It is you do not deign to speak to the elevated people, to the pedestalized people. Do not deign to speak until you are spoken to.
And of course, the same doesn't apply for her.
Of course not. Because she's elevated. She's above him.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to enshrine these class distinctions except on gender lines, and also bring back the Victorian idea of a calling card. A man may leave his calling card with a woman's chaperone, and if she has any interest, she will contact him and ask him what his stock portfolio looks like, and then they can proceed
and
from there.
What his intentions are, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's ridiculous. Go ahead, Josh.
No, that I think you guys you're on point. Truly, like, I think women have forgotten how to take a compliment, even if it means over and over and over and over. And maybe some guys need to get a little bit more creative in the way we approach women. You know,
oh, maybe. I mean, like, you look at it. Okay, I was just in November. I was at a conference at Kennesaw State University, and the number of people, not just men, but also a few women, but the number of people who approached me and were just lavishing compliments on me. Oh my God, I'm your biggest fan. I've been a fan of yours. I've been watching you for like two years now. Oh my God, I like watch every video of yours, like blah 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 blah. Right? It does get to be a little much when you're in that situation, and it's sort of a venue where there are people who know who you are and who really admire what you do or whatever, right? That they're all sort of like coming at you, right? But you take it with grace. You accept it as it is intended. It's not intended as like you're worthless. I would never, ever, ever like consider somebody saying, you're so smart as you're worthless and an object. So why would I consider somebody telling me I'm pretty that I'm worthless and an object? I don't understand. Like,
well,
I guess.
Go ahead, Josh.
I guess if the shoe was on the other foot and I had girls hollering at me all day, I would probably just be delighted, I'll tell you. But that doesn't really happen. So it's hard for me to feel sorry for like someone who is, way good looking and always having guys trying to holler at her. Maybe this guy wants to share a boba Thai tea or something like that, and maybe she doesn't want to hear it though,
One of the interesting things that feminists always talk about is how privilege is invisible. It's invisible to the people who have it, and therefore it's called unpacking the invisible knapsack or some bullshit like that, right? Of examining your privilege and really looking at it and understanding that you have privileges that other people don't have, right? And when I think about the life of the average guy, right, and even some good-looking guys, even some guys who are like better looking than 70% of guys, right? They don't get complimented. They don't get told that they look good. They don't get that.
I can confirm that. I'm really good looking.
But not really from women, not from random women on the street, typically. You have to be in the top 10% to have random women on the street come after you and say, oh, my girlfriend thinks you're really hot. Can you give me her, your number so I can give her your number? Right? No, you have to be a male model to get that kind of attention, right? To get that kind of positive feedback. And to say that positive feedback, to say that being told you're pretty is oppression, like to have people demonstrate that they think that you're attractive is oppression. Maybe it may get to be a little bit much. It may get to be a pain in the butt. But on the other hand, for people who don't get to experience that, like never or almost never, right? Like that they just do not ever have that happen to them. They don't have people approach them. They don't have people hit on them unless they're in a gay bar. Right? If you're a guy, you're probably going to get hit on if you go to a gay bar.
I get hit on in gay bars all the time, man. It's so frustrating.
There you go. But only because you're not interested. Right? And that's the whole thing. Right? It's only because you're not interested. And that's the whole reason why these women find it offensive and oppressive is because they're not interested in these particular guys who are giving them this attention and hitting on them. Right? If they were Brad Pitt, they'd be like swooning. They'd be like, oh my God, I'm so wet. That's how they would be, right? But
well, I just wanted to point something out. When you talk about unpacking the invisible knapsack of male privileges, women have the privilege of being seen as victimized when they get too much or too little attention. when the intention is just not right. You know, it's like
that. No, that's absolutely right. This is the knapsack that really needs to be unpacked.
Goldilocks syndrome.
The knapsack of privilege that you have, where people positively reinforce you every day on your appearance, on your sexual attractiveness. They constantly tell you that you have high sexual market value. They constantly tell you that they're interested in you, that they like you, that they think you're pretty. People constantly tell you those things. Now, that may be a pain and a burden for you, but for somebody who never has experienced that, that would be a privilege. It would be a privilege to hear that you're good looking from some random person.
Just like earning, $3 million a year might be a burden because you don't know where to invest it. You got relatives up your ass asking for loans.
Yes.
All the people coming out of the woodwork, pulling your attention away, and then you have to work 80 hours a week to earn it. But to somebody who is on the street, that might be considered, they might look at that and say, hey, that seems like privilege to me.
There you go.
But I wanted to ask Josh another question. Do you think that the hollaback video is itself actually a hoax, or do you think it's for real?
Honestly, I never watched it. I just heard that this video was on the coattails of that, and I guess I talked to enough people to know, like, it was about some girl walking around for 10 hours being catcalled. I had no desire to go and look it up and watch it. I didn't care, mainly because, I don't know, you ask any bombshell hot blonde if she is ever exhausted from how many guys are trying to pick her up or try to get her phone number or whatever, she's always going to be frustrated about this, or at least in most cases she will. And then go ahead and ask her, would you rather be ugly and have nobody hitting on you? I guarantee you her response is always going to be like, I want to stay Barbie girl, for sure. So, yeah, like you were saying before, some girls never get it, So, like, you should look at that as a blessing. You're good looking. People find you attractive. And as long as they're not being overly aggressive, I think we have
laws for that.
Most prima donnas could totally learn how to take a compliment and walk away. Who cares? Like, oh, I like your face. Oh, you're pretty. Who cares? Like, really? I hate hearing that complaint. Like, because I don't get it myself, and I'm a reasonably handsome guy, and I work out too. I'm stronger than I look.
Yeah, guys don't get told that they're good looking enough. Maybe that's one way feminists, they could really improve the male to female comment ratio if they're so upset about women being given so many more compliments or attention than men. Maybe they could improve it by offering some to men and reinforcing, men's sense of self-worth. But the other question that I had for you was, do you believe that the actress was genuine? The actress who was involved in this viral hoax video, do you believe that she was genuine, her apology was genuine, and that she genuinely did not know?
Honestly, I couldn't say for sure, man. I'm a sucker for a puppy dog face. I don't know, man. Like, she seemed like a sweetheart when I met her. So I really couldn't say if she knew what their intentions were or not. I have no comment on that.
Okay. Go ahead, Rachel.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the hollaback thing. I mean, they did, one of the things that happened, and one of the things people should know about hollaback is they are a nonprofit organization that gets funded by the city of New York City, and a variety of other organizations, but that's besides the point. The point is that, honestly, when they say and when they define street harassment, they define it as something that is consciously done to oppress women, to keep them down, and to put them into a state of submission. That basically, by telling someone to smile, or telling them that they look nice, that this is somehow trying to keep women barefoot and pregnant and out of sight and in some kind of weird 1950s role. That's basically what their mission statement says. Not verbatim, mind you, but that's basically what they're saying. They're saying that this is not just, people maybe being stupid or maybe not articulating that they would like the female interest in a better way, or maybe even just giving a compliment. They interpret this as some form of aggression that's consciously directed at women. I wonder what you would say about that if you would really feel that's the case, because I would say that I don't think it is.
It's really hard to figure out the right way to approach a woman. Women have, in my opinion, like a really easy time, because I don't know. There's, I feel like a woman could walk into a bar and pretty much take home just about any single guy she wanted, and guys don't have that same privilege, So it's really hard to figure out how to approach a woman. Maybe it's different, but here in Los Angeles, man, I feel like I am outnumbered by women. Like, there's a lot of women chasing their dreams to be models here and all this, but it is so hard to get close to any of them. Like, you don't even know what to say to them half the time. So maybe that is why guys holler at every girl they see that they find attractive, is they're just trying to play that law of average. Like, maybe this one, I'll say the right thing and she'll maybe want to give me a little bit of her time, which I don't think that's such a bad thing, as long as you're being nice and respectful, what's the problem, man?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand.
And that's the problem with a lot of these folks and the people who are ideologically driven and things like hollaback. It's never something like maybe it's a misunderstanding or maybe people aren't articulating things correctly. To them, everything is sort of a slight. Whether it's real or not, they will perceive these things as being some kind of aggressive thing that's trying to bring women back 100 years or something. It's just ridiculous. But that's just
if you had a straight guy parading around in booty shorts down Hollywood Boulevard, there'd probably be more girls trying to catcall him too. If that just became kind of the normal, that guys wore less clothing and were maybe a little bit more flamboyant. I'm not saying gay, but maybe just a little bit more flamboyant. Maybe we'd see a different age. Maybe girls would start being a little bit more pervy.
I could get behind that. Yeah.
I would like to encourage guys to wear booty shorts on really hot days. It doesn't make me gay. I do it sometimes. It's really hot here.
Isn't it kind of telling that it is perfectly acceptable for women to do that, but as soon as a guy does it, as a society, we start questioning his sexuality.
Yeah.
Immediately, it's wrong to do, too, because it gets really hot here in Los Angeles. And I'll tell you, booty shorts are pretty gosh darn comfortable. I cut them off too short, and I just went with it. I didn't care, I knew, you want to think I'm gay? I'm not. I don't care. And then after I did that, I brought back high five. You should have seen it. People were high-fiving for, days after that. And now I'm working on the word buster to make that word cool. It's usually pretty hip-hop. But, yeah.
Okay, James, you've been waiting patiently. Come on in. The water.
Yeah, I just wanted.
Wearing a pair of booty shorts.
Just wanted to make mention of the fact that although it's just fine, whatever, if guys want to wear booty shorts, that's just fine. I wouldn't be caught dead in them. But hey, whatever floats your boat. Yeah. Once again, we are expecting a change from women off of what men are supposed to do. And I'm going to have to argue It's never worked. It won't work.
Wearing less clothes?
Yeah, not in that way.
Well, okay, if you
what if just maybe these hips don't lie?
If you wear less clothes, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you look at male strippers versus female strippers, right? Male strippers often strip from a uniform. They're a policeman, they're a fireman, they're, some sort of, they're a military guy, blah, 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 right? And then they take that off, right? But you actually have to, and this is the thing, is the less dressed a man is, the less you can tell what he does for a living, how much money he has, how much social status he has, all of those things that women are attracted to, right? Men are typically attracted to a woman's body. So he can look at her in lingerie or nothing and be completely just captivated by her, right?
But girls could too if that became the status quo. Like if we canceled out the gayness and a man wearing a pair of booty shorts or even lingerie, who knows? I'll tell you, women would start looking at men like sex objects.
If that was a sign of his income, his social status, right? His status in the male dominance hierarchy, then yes. If we changed society enough that a man in the altogether
was desirable just for himself.
Yes.
Which is sort of like personally, that's what I would like to see. I would like to see effect that kind of change and get guys saying, and I think guys already do. 200 years ago, what a woman did was an important conversation because if she didn't do, her family died. Because she was expected to support her relatives as well. So that was, they talked, and even 150 years ago, a woman would be like, a man might talk about a woman's property, what she brings to the marriage. And I think this is a fairly recent change, and it's something we can challenge. I'm not so sure we can go completely back to just both men and women being fainting sex objects. That I don't know where that would go, but it'd be sort of like lesbian bed death, I imagine. But maybe we can find a nice middle ground.
Well, maybe we could just have guys wear the pointy shoes again.
Go ahead, John.
It's probably not likely that it would ever happen, but I've been thinking about it today as I've just been thinking about the type of questions you guys are going to ask me. And I don't know. I was thinking about that earlier, and just kind of makes sense to me that maybe if everyone just wore less clothes, maybe men would have the same problems. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that if you lived where I live. So.
Yeah, no, everybody would be freezing to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
It was actually minus 40 last week here, so that's the point where
Fahrenheit gets frozen and falls off
and go their separate ways.
You could come to Ohio, you could get sunburnt and freeze to death at the same time.
Mm.
We do that here.
Yeah, it's possible.
Wow.
It would be good. It would be good, honestly. It would be good to see at least just see an equal expectation for both sexes to earn being valued sexually. Just equal expectation. It wouldn't have to be high expectation or low expectation specifically, just equal to each other. That would be nice.
Maybe we should do a social experiment and just find dudes that will wear booty shorts, a lot of them. That way we could experiment on women.
There you go. Walk down the street and see how many women holler at them.
I bet they start hollering. I don't know if I'd want to do that experiment in Hollywood because there is a.
Maybe you should do a flash mob. Yeah. A booty short flash mob.
There you go. I bet if you did it in my area, I can guarantee you the women would holler.
Yeah, I think they would. I'm more than reasonably handsome. I was being modest.
Well, we could try it here. We'd probably try to throw a blanket over you. and get you some cup of hot chocolate because
I
you're like,
don't mean.
don't run around with your skin exposed.
Hold on,
here.
you mean a tent?
A tent? Okay, I don't know where that's going.
I don't even know either.
I was just making it funny.
See, now we're in the
That was
silly
awesome.
place again.
Yeah.
Anyway, even though we get to a serious topic, and now we're in the silly place again.
Yeah, well, that's typical for us.
I wanted to give our listeners a visual. You know?
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Booty short flash mob solves all.
Plus pitching a tent.
I always said that that there should be something like that, like a flash mob of some kind in front of like the Westboro Baptist Church. But that's just the way things work in my weird, twisted imagination. It's like people.
No, see, you need a flash mob in front of that church doing the YMCA dance.
Yeah. Oh gosh, young men.
Right.
I would participate in that.
Yeah.
I'll be down for that for sure.
Okay, so Josh, sorry, James is
actually. I'm going by Jay Beezy these days. Actually, it's going to be capital JAY, capital B, capital Z, so all capital. It's like Jay-Z, just with a B.
Okay,
just gonna roll with this.
I don't even know how to pronounce
Jay Beezy. JAYBZ.
Jay Beezy. Okay. So
I'm like the white Jay-Z, just add a B.
So we're probably going to go to the to discussing our subtopics. Do you want to hitch a ride and discuss them with us?
Can I ask one more question before we do that?
Okay, go ahead, Hannah.
All right. I want to know, were you ever contacted by the group that asked you to make the video after it came out that it was fake? Have they said anything to you? Has the guy said anything to you at all?
No, they never contacted me. I had thought about maybe trying to contact them, but I've been having a real hard time finding any information. I'm not the most savvy guy with a smartphone, I tell you. So it's probably out there. I was going to contact them and see if I couldn't mediate with them outside of having to get an attorney and all that. Maybe just get I don't know, figure out how much he made on the video and give him the opportunity to I don't know, pay me and all that good stuff.
To basically take an honest approach.
Yeah, I wanted to do it a little bit more granola, but I have been unable to locate any of his information online, outside of maybe getting an attorney to do that. I don't know. If he's listening, he could get a hold of me. Yeah, no, they never reached out to me at all. Didn't happen. But it's never too late to shine bright like a diamond, and maybe run this town tonight.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, also, before we leave the topic of me, could I maybe shout out my music page?
Sure, and you can shout out also because of this whole situation and his workplace situation. Josh is currently unemployed, so he has a GoFundMe, correct?
That is correct.
So I want to give that.
I'll tell you. Maybe I should talk about that for a second. You see, I've always been told to perhaps shoot for the heavens, maybe you hit the moon. So I did start a GoFundMe out of kind of panic, and I put the limit to $40,000. Now, if I raise $40,000, you can only imagine the joy I'll have snubbing my nose at some of these yupsters who wanted to see me fall on my face. So that's what I'll say to America. You can find that GoFundMe on my music page, where you can enjoy some of my iPhone recordings and a couple recordings that were done in the studio that sound pretty good. But yeah, if you want to support me as an artist, as I am unemployed right now, throw me $1. That would be rad. Maybe I'll buy a really nice car, and girls will start wanting to hold hands with me and all that good stuff. But you can find my music page at www.facebook.com/Josh Blaine music, Blaine, and I will put my GoFundMe information up there for you guys to go ahead and shower me with so much Hanukkah. That would be rad. So yeah, you can listen to my music there, and if you want to, throw me a donation, that would be radical, as I have no intentions of suing, and I don't know if I'll ever see a penny out of mediation. It's just a kid, so it would be cool. I'm unemployed.
Okay, so that is facebook.com/Josh Blaine with an E music.
That's correct. Blaine. It's spelled like David Blaine. Yeah.
Okay. So direct your browsers there and take a look, and let's Rachel, take us into the news topics if you would.
Oh yes, I will. There's so many wonderful topics here. Okay.
And I haven't put the GoFundMe on my page, but I'll do that in the next hour or so before we leave that topic too quickly. I'll put that on my Facebook page for anybody that wants to go there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it away, Rachel.
Radical.
All right. Chris Rock comments on political correctness. The comedian Chris Rock spoke of the culture brewing in college campuses in a recent interview, stating that he no longer does shows for colleges because of their extreme political correctness. Quote, "Well, I love Bill Maher, but I stopped playing colleges, and the reason is because they're way too conservative. Not in their political views, not like they're voting Republican, but in their social views and their willingness not to offend anybody. Kids raised on the culture of we're not going to keep score in the game because we don't want anybody to lose. Or just ignoring race to a fault. You can't say that black kid over there, no, it's that guy with the red shoes. You can't even be offensive on your way to being inoffensive," unquote. He goes on to say that him and many comedians had been noticing this culture, which seems hostile to the less politically correct comedy. This came in response to Berkeley's attempt to ban Bill Maher for Muslim jokes. Quote, "About 8 years ago, probably a couple of tours ago, it was just like this is not as much fun as it used to be. I remember talking to George Carlin before he died and him saying the exact same thing," unquote. This leads us to wonder, is there a single thing which social justice warriors can't destroy?
Josh, could we get you to mute when you're not talking? Just because there's a lot of background noise where you are.
Yeah, sorry. Starbucks.
That's okay. All right.
And so basically what's happening here is he's commenting on the fact that him and a lot of other comedians no longer do tours at schools, at colleges or anything anymore because there is a culture there that is incredibly hostile to the edgier comedy that is pushing the boundaries of what society feels is acceptable.
Oh, I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked that there is a hostile environment and a suppressive environment in universities in the United States. I'm horrified. I never would have suspected. I'm being sarcastic. I don't know.
I know.
It is really. The sad thing about this is that the people doing it, the people putting up with it don't really realize that they're actually putting forth a form of bigotry. Here you have, these comedians don't feel free to talk because the focus becomes, is this offensive? Is this offensive? When in reality, what's going on there is these social justice warriors are writing their own narrative over every little minority or little, supposedly oppressed group that they are trying to claim to protect. And you think about it, Chris Rock is black. He ought to be able to make black jokes without white people telling him to shut up. Frankly, if he wants to say something, it should be his right and his privilege. Not because, not specifically because of the color of his skin, but because, who are they to tell him what he can and can't think? And to be honest, when you're in that situation where they are telling you what you can and can't think, or at least in my experience with being told what I can and can't think about being a woman, it very often turns out that they're more intent on quashing your point of view than they are in protecting anybody, and it really becomes more oppressive than the things that they're trying to protect you from. You know, it's not so much a protection as it is an attempt to sort of tell you what you can and can't do. And it's not so much a protection as it is an attempt to be in charge.
Yeah. And the thing about comedy is it's so wonderful. A lot of times we have these very touchy subjects that people have a hard time really discussing. And by bringing it into this sort of safe space where people are free to laugh about it and to consider it, it makes it a lot easier, the conversation a lot easier. So they're so focused on what the conversation is about that they don't understand what's really taking place, which is that sometimes they're able to sit in the safe space and understand, assess these things for themselves and really decide, is this okay? You know, is it right that these things should be going on in our society? It allows you to question these things, and that's what a lot of this kind of subversive humor is about. I mean, George Carlin was always questioning. I think one of his major acts was questioning how people feel about certain words you're not supposed to say in public, things that you're not supposed to. I mean, that we have sort of this weird taboo on certain things that you're not supposed to say, and that you're not supposed to say, and that the moment that you do, it magically makes everybody feel uncomfortable, and so you can't ever say these things on television ever because they're worse than Hitler. So it's challenging that narrative, that sort of that tone policing. It's saying, it's questioning whether or not people should be able to do things like censor free speech because their feelings are hurt. And the fact that they're coming against that is very telling.
No censoring free speech, right?
Yeah,
right, it's censor duck.
Exactly. There's. Whoa! I don't know what's going on with Lauren's end.
No squeaking. That's all I want to say.
Squeaky, squeaky.
Right?
Yeah.
Squeaky, squeaky.
That reminds me of a Sesame Street from back when I was younger, because they would always have this little rubber ducky, and it was like, put down the ducky or you'll never play the saxophone. Yeah. But that's off topic. So back on topic. Anybody have something to say?
Yeah, when it comes to the whole race thing, I mean, race is such a taboo, and it always has been in this country for hundreds of years. It's just not something that we're going to pull away from easily. But I don't think that there's anything that we should not be able to talk about, right? People, get offended so easily by the simplest of jokes. You can't make a joke about anything without someone being offended. And, that's not the kind of world that I want to live in. Listen, terrible things happen. They have happened. They will continue to happen. But when you censor someone and say that you can't talk about this or you can't make a joke about one thing or the other, you strip away the humanity of that thing. And it becomes harder for people to embrace. How are we supposed to have an honest conversation about race or anything else if we can't even joke about it, in a playful manner? I think it's completely destructive. And, I'm all for free speech. I cannot stand censorship. So, I applaud Chris Rock for saying what he said, and thank you. But at the same time, I kind of take the stance that Morgan Freeman has. If you continually talk about race, we will never get past racism. You will never get past it if the headlines that you see is a white cop shot a black man. We are all people. So why should the color of our skin have take any precedence over anything that happens in society. I mean, unfortunately, it does, because this is a racially charged society. Things happen in that manner. There are some people who just cannot, they cannot break the shackles in their minds of the way things were. But I don't think that it's going to continue in that way. I think we will eventually come to a place where, this is not a big deal. Unfortunately, I think that that's not very, it's going to take a while for us to get there.
Yep.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you obviously do want to add something, Josh, so I'll just step away.
So I was just going to say, I read statistics that 1 in 3 black men will end up in jail, and then I saw a picketer in Ferguson holding a sign that says, and I was a black man, it said, they make jokes about it, but what did it say? It said, a mother shouldn't have to worry every time her son robs a store. I think that maybe the cure to racism is being able to joke about it, being able to, I don't know, make light of things like that, I don't know. People are so anxious to point the finger and call someone a racist over the littlest things, and I think, we need to stop making things about color and just make it, we're all humans, I agree with you there, for sure.
I think some of the reason that makes that humorous is that it's ridiculous. I mean, it's not funny if it's not ridiculous. And every funny thing has not necessarily a grain of truth to it, but a grain of being able to identify with it in some way or another. And even if it is simply, oh, hey, I know that stereotype, that is what makes us laugh at things like that. And for people to try to turn it into something that it's not, as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of a sickness, and we do have to be able to, if you can't look at life with at least a grain of humor to it, it becomes a situation of anger and resentment, and the hatred continues to brew. And that is something, back to, was it Morgan Freeman, Lauren, that you said had said, we can't end racism if we keep talking and making race a topic. We keep talking about race all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really right in one specific way. If we keep picking at the wound and prodding it and making everything about it, whether it is or not, we're just going to keep it fresh. We're not going to allow it to heal. And I think that's really an important thing to make note of and remember. We can't either ignore race or make everything about it whether it is or not. We have to be able to celebrate our differences, enjoy the fact that we are all, we have things in common and we have things that we don't have in common. And God, wouldn't life be boring if everybody was exactly alike? Wasn't there a kids' television program that kind of made fun of that idea specifically for the point of celebrating diversity? I think Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood had, the planet where everybody was purple and had the same names or something. It's exactly the kind of thing that we want to avoid. Having to all be exactly alike in order to get along. We should enjoy the fact and highlight the fact that we have differences. And we should be able to do that and laugh about it without getting mad at each other, as long as we're not doing it to be mean.
Yeah, I think we should be able to find the comedic value in everything, like if you laugh, the whole world will laugh with you. If you fart, I don't know, you know.
Then the whole world will laugh at you. It's just like the white people can't dance stuff that I'm seeing on Facebook all the time. I think those are hilarious, and they do find people who can't dance. But you know, it is funny, and it's, you know, like the whole redneck
we
thing.
Can't jump either.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole redneck.
So, you know, they want to point the finger, but I was like, what do you mean? You people, you know, that can't jump and can't dance and all that, you know.
Well, we all got to be able to take a joke. I think
right.
Jokes are hilarious. One of my favorites goes around Facebook. It's a picture of the first all-female parking lot, and it has all these piled-up cars that have gone off of the edge of a road because of an earthquake or something. You know, and it's funny, even though, you know, it's a stereotype. But I love that. And if you can't laugh at stuff like that, life becomes really boring really fast.
Right. We should all have a good laugh, you know, sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to touch back on something that Josh said. You cited a statistic that you had read about 1 in 3 Black men will be incarcerated. And I don't know where you read that, and I would like to see it. But recently I watched a movie by Jenks Morton. It's called What Black Men Think. And it really challenges people's stereotypes about Black males. And, you know, he goes around and he asks all these questions like, okay, do you think that there are more Black men in jail, or are there more Black men in college? And of course, you know, naturally, people all thought that more Black men were in jail, but it's not true. You know, that movie just really opened your eyes to the stereotypes that people have of Black men. And a lot of the things that you hear are just not true, or the statistics are skewed in a certain way to make it seem as though Black men are, you know, just the scourge of the earth, and they're just do-nothings and ne'er-do-wells, when further could not be true. So I'd like to know where you got that from, or, you know, read that article, whatever it is.
I read it somewhere on Facebook, and I'm sure it's probably some. I'm sure it's probably regional, like in different areas. I don't believe everything I read either, but that is something that I read during all this Ferguson stuff, you know.
Well, I would like to speak to what Lauren is saying, and the reality is that statistically men are more likely to be incarcerated than women. But the problem with looking at incarceration and saying that the statistically X group is more likely to be incarcerated, therefore that group is comprised of bad people, the problem with that is there are sentencing disparities that are very much statistical realities. And I've seen a rundown of, based on the sentencing disparities, I haven't seen it based on the racial sentencing disparities, but based on the gender sentencing disparities, I've seen one rundown done by, just a preliminary rundown on Tumblr, by I think a statistician or something, and they went through and they analyzed the numbers, and based just on the gender disparity, the gender disparity in sentencing, they actually found that the gender disparity in sentencing could explain the disparity in the number of men in jail and the number of women in jail. So if you took out the gender disparity in sentencing, the fact that judges throw the book at men more, that men are more likely to go to jail, that men are more likely to get longer sentences, that men are more likely to get custodial sentences, if you account for all of that, and if you got rid of it, there would be just as many women in jail as men. So when you look at, say one population is more likely to be jailed, that doesn't necessarily mean they're more criminals. It means that they aren't afforded the same lenience as another population. So I just wanted to point that out.
I can actually speak to this real quick because I wrote about it for A Voice for Men. I actually did some research on that, and I cannot remember the article's titles and everything that I found, but I did find that the same disparity that exists in gender also does exist with regard to race. The disparity between black and white is not quite as obvious as the one that exists between genders, but you could actually say there's a tiered hierarchy there with black men getting hit the worst, and white women having it the easiest in both the law enforcement systems and the penal systems. They get for the same circumstances, the same accusations, the same factors involved and everything. Black men are more likely to be convicted, they're more likely to receive longer sentences, and they're more likely to serve more of their sentences than anybody else, and for the same situations. So, and the other thing that I wanted to say here, because it's been pointed out in several different chats, is the image that you were talking about. The original quote was worry when her son goes out the door. So that was actually probably a joke image that was photoshopped, and it's probably important to say so. So since it came from several sources, like I said, that was not the original image. The original was worry when her son goes out the door.
Did you want to say anything to that, Lauren, before Karen comes on?
No, go ahead.
I wanted to add, it's not just a sentencing and conviction discount that women enjoy. It is women are less likely to be stopped in the first place. And then when they're stopped, they're less likely to be arrested. And then when they're arrested, they're less likely to be charged with a crime. And when they're charged, they are more likely to be charged with a lesser crime. And then when they are charged with that lesser crime, they are less likely to be prosecuted. And when they are prosecuted, they are less likely to be convicted. When they are convicted, they are more likely to be convicted of a lesser crime, if that option is available. When they are convicted of that lesser crime, they are less likely to be sentenced to incarceration. When they are sentenced to incarceration, they get shorter sentences, and when they get those shorter sentences, they serve less of them before they are released. So, I mean, like they have a discount the entire way through, and if you actually that Tumblr post, and I forget who it was, Permutation of Ninjas, or
yeah, I think it was Permutation.
It was Permutation of Ninjas, I think.
Yeah, and he actually just worked backwards, factoring in all of the percentages of discounts women get across the board. He factored backwards from the 95% male, 94% male, 6% female prison population, and factored backwards and worked all of those discounts in, and found that women commit about 45% of the crime.
Yeah. There's another thing to consider here that's probably also pretty important, and that is if a man and a woman commit a crime together, it is very common for the woman's involvement to get blamed on the man as if she didn't make the decision herself to commit the crime.
Karla Homolka. Just I don't know if you've heard of her, Josh, but Google Karla Homolka. We actually had our Governor General, our freaking, was it the Governor General or was it the Solicitor General?
Of Canada.
Of Canada, right? Intervene in this case where she, this sociopath, lured young women, committed sexual atrocities on them, and murdered them in partnership with her husband, Paul Bernardo, right? And there was a plea deal, right? She said, oh, well, I'll testify against him. I was a battered woman, right? And literally, I think it was a week after she struck that deal, they found a videotape of her, of one of the incidents. I think it was the one involving her sister, who was killed, that showed that she was a full and willing participant, that she was, egging him on, that the whole bit, right? I mean, she just, She managed to get out.
Wow.
She only served like 10 years or something like that. He's in prison. He's in prison forever. He was sentenced to life. That normally would let you out after 15 years, but he has been registered as a dangerous offender. And dangerous offenders in Canada never get out. If you have this status added to you, that you are a dangerous offender and it's never safe to let you out, right? He will spend the rest of his life in prison. He will die in prison. She served her sentence in a very, very nice bungalow-style women's prison, and then she was involved in all kinds of social activities on the inside, and then she got out, and they put her in, they set her up in a town, they gave her startup money and a situation and a job and the whole bit, right? And then she married a doctor, and now she's living in fucking Bermuda or some bullshit.
Yeah.
With her doctor husband.
Yep. Yeah, but
living the good life,
all you do is rape and murder some women.
Well, she ain't fucking freezing her ass off. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of cocksuckers on top.
Well, in her, yeah, she's definitely a cocksucker. Well, worse than that. But Karen, we do have to move on to the next topic, so I'm just gonna censor duck.
Yay! Censor duck.
Okay.
No squeaking. God damn you.
It's so cute.
Right?
All right. That's the cutest thing ever.
Okay, go for it, Rachel.
All right, I'm probably gonna butcher this name. All right, male victims have more privilege. Kaylin Pollock Kirkpatrick, an Arizona State University student, recently published an article in the state press that both slams MRAs for criticizing feminism while still managing to be everything that MRAs have criticized about modern feminism. It's involved. She states that men should not be a part of the discussion on sexual assault because they have inherent privilege that prevents them from having empathy for female victims of sexual abuse. That even when males themselves are victims, they are entirely incapable of having empathy for female victims, and that by expressing themselves, they are interfering with feminist safe spaces. Quote, feminism provides a safe space for women to cope with and fight back against the oppressive society in which they live. It exists because oppressed people often need support from others who can't empathize with their struggles. Men have privileges that prevent them from being able to empathize with the struggles of women, even when they are survivors of sexual crimes. Unquote. Oh yes, this woman just said that male victims shouldn't even have a space to discuss their issues within feminism, and criticizes men's rights activists for pointing out that feminism doesn't seem to care about men's issues at all. Quote, it seems as though facts are often ignored by men's rights activists who accuse feminists of not caring about male survivors of sexual crimes, unquote. Quote, when men want a space in this feminist conversation, it indicates the already prevalent patriarchal desire to control how oppressed groups fight their own battles, unquote. Quote, when men insist upon participating in feminist conversations about sexual violence, they make women feel uncomfortable by taking up much-needed space in their community, unquote. The woman who just said that men discussing being sexually abused is patriarchal can't imagine why MRAs say feminists don't care about men's issues. The stupid burns. And this is such an interesting article because, first off, she criticizes men's rights advocates for criticizing feminism, and the criticism of feminism that they're criticizing is that men's rights activists said that, consistently say that they don't, the feminism doesn't really care about men's issues or male victims of sexual assault. And then she goes on to say that, well, basically, there's no room for you to discuss this within feminism, which is what they say every time they say, okay, well, maybe men need a movement to discuss their issues. They say, well, there's plenty of room to discuss it within feminism, but then here's this woman saying that you can't do that, because if you do that, you're taking up space away from the women folk. And
okay, my first thought on this was, what the hell kind of drugs is this woman taking? And then I realized this is the end result of the chain of thought that starts with Mary Koss's attitude when she started her research with the intent to inflate statistics on sexual victimization of females, and then specifically took measures to exclude male victims from the narrative. That she had to redefine everything to exclude any victimization of males, because she knew she was going to get the same statistics for men that she got for women if she did not otherwise do that. This is the end result of that type of thinking.
I don't think that that's what she was thinking at all. I don't think that Mary Koss has any problem whatsoever about acknowledging that men can be victims of sexual violence. I think her problem is admitting that females can be perpetrators of sexual violence, because she did not erase every male victim with her rejiggering of definitions. She
only eliminated the male victims of female perpetrators.
Single female perpetrator in the study. Every single one. And what gets me, too, about this stupid fucking cunt, sorry, my bad language, but this Pollock Kirkpatrick woman, right? That like fucking she's saying this is a space for healing. No, that's not the purpose of the space. If that was the purpose of the space, if the purpose of the space was to help people get over what was done to them, right? They would welcome male victims, particularly male victims of female perpetrators, because then everybody in the space would see that we're all human, and what was done to me by an individual. It was done to me by an individual who made an individual choice. No, that is not the purpose of the space. The purpose of the space is not for healing. The purpose of the space is to nurture one wrong done against one woman by one man into a grudge by that woman against all men. That's what the purpose of the space is. It is not to heal. It is to pick scabs. It's to pick them and pick them and pick them until they're digging into they're in the subcutaneous fat. It's just a giant oozing supperous crater, right? That's what they're doing. And then they're saying, and what you're feeling now, that's because of society. That's because of men. Patriarchy. That's because of men.
In some cases, they have to inflict those wounds themselves, too. As far as those spaces are concerned, if you don't have those wounds, if you don't come out of an assault with those wounds, they will demand that you have them. Yeah. And if you don't comply with that demand, you get more harassment out of feminists than you do out of the people who assaulted you in the first place.
I got told I was a victim blamer, self-blaming. I took all the blame for my assault. I didn't put any blame on the perpetrators, even though I clearly said it was their fault. They chose to do what they did. I was just stupid enough to put myself in a situation that gave them the opportunity to do it, right? Like that they will, and that what I was doing by saying, that for some people in some circumstances, by taking responsibility for your decisions leading up and saying, okay, I did that. That was a mistake. I don't have to do that again. Now I feel safe because I know I don't have to make that mistake again. That me saying that was actually victimizing other women. I was actually traumatizing other women by just saying that. They are brutal. They are fucking brutal. And the most amazing thing is then they say, when somebody like me says, report your fucking sexual assaults, report it. The guy's a recidivist. 90% of the time, 9 times out of 10,
He's done it before. He'll do it again. He's going to do it again to someone else. Go report it to the police. Have some social responsibility. It's not just you. It's you and everybody else he assaults, right? And then they tell me I'm being too harsh.
Okay, so they say they accuse you because you didn't feel that you had as much of it wasn't as impactful as they thought it should be. You accuse you of blaming all or hurting other women.
Yes.
But when you say that if you're assaulted, it's going to be by a recidivist, so report him to prevent other women from being hurt, you're being too harsh. Okay, I have something else to add to that. I have something else to add to that. But we have to do it quickly because we're at the hour. When I talk to some feminist so-called victim advocate and about a situation in which the only person who could prevent the rape was the woman, and the reason why was because this victim advocate was proposing that there are some men who don't know that they're raping, but they do it accidentally. And I said, well, in that case, wouldn't the woman clearly informing the man that she's being raped at this moment, wouldn't that prevent the rape? Because he's obviously doing it by accident. And she's the only one who has a clear understanding of what's going on. And he said, that's victim blaming. Even though the only person in that instance who could conceivably stop an accidental rape is the rape victim, to tell women to clearly indicate that they're being raped is victim blaming. So he would rather women be raped than give them the only option to prevent it. He would rather they be raped than so-called victim blame. And it was like, I looked at this and I'm like, you are an appalling human being, and you don't even know that. You think you're doing something moral, but you have decided that that there is something worse than rape, and that is victim blaming. So, according to your estimation of victim blaming, which is actually informing women there are ways to prevent rape, which I don't see as victim blaming, but you have decided that's worse than rape. So you'll let women get raped as long as they aren't told how they can take steps to prevent it, even in a situation where they're the only one who can take steps to prevent it. I mean, this isn't a situation where you lock your door or whatever. This is a situation where she's the only one who can prevent the rape from happening. She's the only one. Only her actions can prevent it. That's it. And he still said, no, let her be raped. And I said that to him. I said, so apparently there is something worse than rape. And go ahead, Hannah.
Well, that's just it. Apparently, preventing rape is worse than rape. But the thing there is that they would rather have women be victimized than acknowledge that women have any power at all. But the other thing that they will do that is particularly heinous is if your narrative, your experience, I should say, does not fit their narrative, their victim narrative, they will actually accuse you of lying. The whole believe the victim narrative that they give you totally, completely falls to the wayside as soon as your experience doesn't match what they want to say. As soon as your experience doesn't match something that makes men rapists and women victims, men powerful and women helpless. As soon as you start talking about a female perpetrator, you get accused of lying. You get accused of not understanding your own sexuality. You get accused of derailing if you bring it up in a situation where they are talking about male victimization of women. And a really good example of that is the Yes All Women narrative. I posted a link to an interview with the creators of a very grueling and graphic documentary called She Stole My Voice, which is about a woman-on-woman sexual assault. And I got told I was derailing. So victims of female perpetrators, female victims of female perpetrators, don't count. They don't matter. That's completely irrelevant to the discussion because it's not demonizing men. And the person who said it to me had just gotten done telling me that Yes All Women was not about demonizing men. So, I mean, they don't even realize how hypocritical they are on this. But yeah, they have no problem whatsoever victim blaming and accusing you of lying and accusing you of anything that they can think of to shut you up as soon as you start talking about a female assailant assaulting a female victim or even a male victim. They don't want to hear that.
Okay. Well, thanks, Hannah. But we are at the end of the hour. I'm going to give Josh the opportunity. Do you have any final words on anything?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on your show. You guys, you're way cool to be on your show.
Just get a little closer to the mic there, Josh, because it's hard to hear you.
Thank you for bringing me on your show. It's definitely been nice talking about this.
Well, thanks for coming on with us.
Hello.
Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah. And thank you again for shouting out my music page. I just recorded a Halloween single called "Kicked In Pumpkin" that I'm really hoping to put in maybe some horror films that will be made this upcoming year or whatever. So, I'd just like to shout that out at the end and say, yeah, check out my music page, facebook.com/Josh Blaine Music. I'm an up-and-comer, so keep up with me.
So take a look at that, and thanks again for coming on and being a great guest.
Also, and my parting words, my family is in the branding business, so I bring it up because Steven Zhang does branding. Apparently, he does like some type of branding work. I'd like to shout out my mom's husband, Andy Johnson, with Johnson Beasley. He does a lot of branding work and brand identity. I don't really know much about it, but I guess they are in similar fields. So if anybody's looking for a good branding agency, talk to Johnson Beasley. Love you, Mom.
Okay.
I know you're
Great.
listening.
Are you on Twitter?
I am. I'm on Twitter, but mainly just Facebook. I don't have much to say generally.
So everybody.
But I pop up first on Facebook, Josh Blaine. So check me out.
Okay. Lauren is telling me to plug Twitter. So what's your Twitter address?
I don't know it. I know I'm on there. I think I'm just
your Facebook address. Then.
I think I'm just. It is facebook.com/Hollywood Kickass.
Okay. All right.
That's my personal page, but my music page is facebook.com/Josh Blaine Music. And I'd love to see some new people checking out my stuff. That'd be rad.
All right. Well, hopefully they will. So, if you're on Facebook, direct your browser to /Josh Blaine with an E music. And I want to thank you again, Josh, and thanks to my co-hosts for making it a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thanks to Hannah, to Karen, to Lauren, and to Rachel. And thank you also to Censor Duck.
Thank you.
And I also want to extend a thanks to Phil, our animator, who has been diligently animating for a year now. He's currently going to be moving on to new projects, new men's rights related projects, but he does have a website that you should also check out. It's Vidoka Media, and do check it out. And if you have any need of an animator, he is a fantastic animator. And I just wanted to say thanks, Phil, for a wonderful year of free animation and incredible work. And I wish you well, and I think everybody here wishes you well in your future endeavors, in advocating for men's issues, and good luck. And again, if you have any need of animation work, please do point your browsers to Vidoka Media, and I'll be making sure that's in the low bar. It should be in the low bar of Karen's video. Unfortunately, just don't know how to spell it. I am a terrible speller, so
send me a link. I would like his contact information.
Sure. I'll send a link to Josh. That doesn't help anybody who's listening currently, but but it should be in the it'll be in the low bar of the YouTube video if you're watching that, and you can also find it on our website under the team page at honeybadgerbrigade.com. Just honeybadgerbrigade.com, and just click on the team page, and you can find Phil's info there. Here's the spelling. VIDOKI, and I believe it is VIDOKI media.com. Yeah. And please do go there if you have any animation needs. He's a great animator. So, and thank you once again, Phil, for the gift of a year of free animation. We really appreciate it. And thanks also to James, who's in the back room telling me, probably jumping up and down, telling me to end the show, and yes, I am getting to the end. And at the end, I usually do this. I plug our Patreon page. It is www.patreon.com/honeybadgerradio. If you like our style, our free dog style, our completely raw, unvarnished truth style, what you see is what you get. No post-production. It's a lucky day if we get through an entire show without some technical issue, which has absolutely nothing to do with our producer and everything to do with the fact that we are on a shoestring budget using equipment that probably isn't meant to be used for this. But if you like our style, please do consider patroning us, because you do make this possible. You make it possible to do this work, and you make it possible to have this medium. So once again, that's www.patreon.com/honeybadgerradio. And if you want to do just a one-time donation, you can send it to honeybadgers, that's plural, honeybadgersradio@gmail.com. That's honeybadgersradio@gmail.com through PayPal. And again, it's very, very appreciated. And you do help us bring out the word of actually discussing these issues rationally, with a sense of humor, and with a sense that everybody involved is a human being, and you don't piss on them with contempt. You listen to what they have to say, you discuss it rationally, and you go from there. So I want to say thanks again to everyone, and yeah, good night. Good night from Censor Duck as well.